From its 52-week high, Micron is down roughly 39%. Now, on today's episode, what I want to do is the following. First, kind of start off with why I believe Micron technology can be a long-term bullish stock where we're at right now. With the prices below $100, I find it very attractive. And secondly, yesterday, the company did present at a conference, and there were some things that I believe Wall Street did not understand, and I think that's bullish for us retail investors. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. But before we go any further, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for special offer at fool.com/Jose, and check out my free daily semiconductor newsletter, whatthechip.com.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, just a quick 1-2 minute long-term opportunity for Micron Technology. So Micron Technology is a company that focuses in the memory space, right? We all know this. And right now, the biggest growth in memory is AI, as AI needs a lot more memory components, right? So you're seeing kind of your AI PCs go up in memory components. You see your overall AI phones also needing more memory. And more importantly, you have AI accelerators like NVIDIA's chips and all these other AI chips needing HBM, which is a very special type of memory that only a selective few can do. Micron is one of them. Now, right now, every market is still pretty much in a down market except the AI accelerator market. So the PC market is still down. The phone market is still down. Those have tailwinds. Autonomous robotics, right? Autonomous cars also, once they'll become a thing, they're going to need more memory as well. So if you're bullish in the future of autonomous driving, if you're bullish in the future of robotics, all those components are going to need memory solutions. So you will see a nice tailwind from Micron Technology in revenue, which will also trickle down to a nice growth in earnings per share. So if you're ever wondering why to be bullish for Micron, that is the main reason. The reason to be bearish is this is a very cyclical market, right? Especially since their memory is used in a lot of consumer goods. So whenever the consumer market is bad, Micron can take a heavy hit. The second thing is this is a market that's very competitive, except HBM at the moment. Every other type of memory is somewhat competitive. HBM, which is that special type of memory that goes on AI chips, is the least type of competitive product, the least type of competition product right now. It has a little bit bigger moat, and Micron is one of the main players out of two really providing solutions in this space. So those are the reasons to be bearish, right? The cyclicality, the commoditization, and the heavy competition. Now, yesterday, Micron Technology did have an event. They had a Wolf Research Auto Tech, and Semiconductor Conference in New York City on Wednesday, February 12th at 6:50 p.m. Now, let's try to understand what the market didn't like. So they started off with opening statements, and they gave no changes or updates to their second quarter guidance. Now, this might be a reason the market might have not liked it. They would have probably expected, hey, Micron, it would have been very bullish for you to say, hey, look, we are seeing better traction in our second quarter, so we're actually going to update our guidance to the upside. They didn't do that. Now, what they did do is they gave guidance for their third quarter, fiscal third quarter, which is calendar second quarter, and they say that now they see fiscal third quarter gross margins be lower by a few hundred basis points sequentially. They mentioned that this is primarily due to a higher mix of consumer-related or consumer-oriented mix in fiscal quarter three. So now the market is wondering, hey, now you're saying that for the upcoming quarter, you're going to reduce you expect lower gross margins sequentially. This means there's more competition is what the market is fearing, or that the HBM market that you're in is becoming smaller somehow. Maybe the competition there arose. And I think the market is really worried that HBM is becoming a commodity for Micron Technology. And I don't think that's the case. Micron mentions that they're actually seeing a bigger pickup in the PC market, in the phone market as well for the third quarter. And those tend to have lower margins than previously expected. So those are going to have kind of a margin pressure hit by a few hundred basis points. So I think this is actually a really good thing. This is going to allow Micron to continue to have this strong inventory and supply and demand, which is very needed in the memory space. I don't think them losing a few hundred basis points in gross margins is that big of a deal, right? It's definitely not the worst thing, especially if you're going to continue to see revenue growth and be able to provide more solutions and get rid of your equipment, especially if it means that the PC market and the phone market are picking up and are expected to be healthy by spring. Um, so throughout the conference, they wanted to make sure that investors understood, or that Wall Street understood, that the PC market is improving. So this is actually very bullish if you also own companies in other markets within the PC space, like the CPU companies, right? This could be bullish for companies like AMD, for example. It could be bullish for companies like Qualcomm, because we know the smartphone business seems to be picking back up. It could be bullish for Apple in the long term of things, right? So this can give us that indication already that those markets are ready to turn around. Now, unfortunately, they still mentioned that the automotive industry is still somewhat weakness, and they're seeing some signs of breath, but it's still probably too early to tell. Now, again, it seems like Wall Street is really only caring about the AI market, very similar to the AMD story that I talked about yesterday. So the analyst was asking, hey, do you see your HBM business being an accretive to overall DRAM in forms of margins? This executive here at Micron mentioned yes, right? So this is still healthy, that HBM still has great profits overall compared to the corporate average. Micron also mentions that they're progressing really well with their HBM technologies and with their upcoming new products. And again, that's very bullish, because this is HBM is a market that you need to be able to continue to evolve and continue to innovate. If you stop innovating, then that's when things turn bad for Micron. If Micron can't keep up with SK Hynix and they can't keep beating Samsung, it's going to be a bad time for Micron. So if you own Micron shares, this is something that's crucial. You need to keep an eye on the HBM market, because any sudden turn, and let me just say, the turn is going to be sudden. It's going to come out of nowhere, where someone says, hey, look, Micron is actually lagging. If it is, and you will see a steep downcrease in the stock price. If you own Micron, that's what you should also be prepared for. But overall, Mark Murphy mentions that their technology is good, and they expect to continue their leadership in HBM4. And after HBM4, they're very excited for HBM4E that would ramp sometime in 2026. So there's a lot of growth opportunity here for the HBM market, and them really innovating in the space. And this is being a technology that's kind of very hard to manufacture at the moment, allows them to be less competitive players in the space, which allows for better pricing power. Now, one other thing that they mention is, like, there's only two players in the HBM space. SK Hynix is the leader by far, followed by Micron. The market also has another third player that can do it, Samsung, but they've been very unsuccessful. Now, Micron Technology, and the guidance that they've given us in the past, where they believe they can grow their HBM market at crazy levels, and for it to be kind of the standard to their market share in DRAM levels, they already have Samsung being successful in that plan. And I think that's very bullish. It shows us that market and Micron is very conservative on how much they can really grow in the HBM space, because they're giving kind of already in their projections numbers to Samsung, who hasn't really completely finished in the HBM market right now. So, I mean, I want to say, I believe Micron, like I said, at below $100 is very attractive. This is a stock that's going to be very, very cyclical. So if one is already very AI heavy, I don't know if Micron is the best stock to buy, right? Because you're just going to become even more AI heavy than before. So always keep in mind what positions you own. Even some stocks, right? Even though this is a memory company, is still involved in the AI chip space. And remember, there's a lot of companies that might not be semiconductor players that are still AI plays. So I think that's the most crucial thing when looking at new investments, seeing if you want to increase your overall exposure in that market. And Micron, I think the biggest tailwind for this is going to be the AI space, from consumers, from automotive, from robotics, and the list goes on and on. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.